Hi yogis, it's Jackie. Sorry this is a day late. We have begun our third week on the 7-week chakra journey at Evolve with Erin and I. So if you have been in any of the classes Sundays 1 o'clock or Erin's in class tonight, you may have already started to hear some of the workings behind the Manipura chakra or the solar plexus chakra, which is our third chakra, our third energy center that, starting from the ground up, being the root in our first week, the foundation, the most physical, the most dense of all the chakras, and working our way up, having gone through the sacral chakra last week, and that being feelings and emotions, senses, desires. The aspect is to feel, and this week is the Manipura chakra, and this is to act. So this is the fire chakra. The element is fire, and its color is yellow. It's located just above the sacral chakra in the midsection of the body, and I heard this in doing some research on the Manipura chakra one time about burning our way into power, and really the Manipura chakra has to do with to act, to move. So we have set up our foundation through the root chakra, and we have explored our feelings and our senses and our desires, most importantly in the sacral chakra, the second chakra, and now it's time to act. And this really is about self-definition, finding what defines us and our ego identity. So the demon here, the demon with the Manipura chakra, is shame. And we either feel really secure and confident in ourselves and we're ready to act. This would be characteristics of a balanced Manipura chakra, or we are feeling shameful and our self-esteem is low, we feel powerless, we feel victim, we become drawn into a corner, and we freeze, we withdraw, and we don't act. We don't get what we want. We don't manifest what we want in this life. We don't become a part of the collective energy, the universal energy, because we aren't even willing to become a part of our own energy. And so an excess, so that would be like a deficient Manipura chakra, and so an excess Manipura chakra would be needing too much power, narcissistic, demeaning, judgmental, taking everybody down in your path, trying to get what you want, becoming selfish. And so there again is that balance in between the two polarities. We really identify with our will, our behavior, and our actions. So what are we willing to do? How are we going to do that? And that is through our behavior and how we're going to act. The kind of thought that can go along with the solar plexus is I am what I do, and that's where shame can come in very easily, because if I make a choice and it's maybe not the best choice, and I receive a consequence from that choice, do I over-identify with that? Or do I say that, or am I the victim? I don't acknowledge that right, if I make an unhealthy choice, I receive a consequence from it. Say I eat McDonald's, and I feel just sick after eating McDonald's. So a deficient solar plexus would be, God, why do I always feel so sick? Why does this always happen to me? I can't eat anything. I can't even enjoy McDonald's even once. A lot of blame, a lot of projecting onto other aspects outside of yourself, not really taking responsibility for your choice. And an overactive solar plexus would be would be over-identifying with that. You know, oh, why do I always do this to myself? You know, just totally shaming yourself for making that choice. And a balance would be, wow, I feel like crap. That really sucked. I shouldn't have probably ate McDonald's. I know better. So I'm going to take responsibility for that choice and hopefully do something different next time. And not even hopefully, doing something next time. So that's where your action and your behavior comes in. So if I want to lose weight or get healthy or transform my yoga practice, but I'm not making it on my mat ever, maybe once a month, this is where, and you start to feel depressed by that and shamed by that, and you just feel icky about those choices that you're making. This is where the solar plexus comes in, because you have a drive, a desire to develop your yoga practice, and your solar plexus, the fire within, is what gets you to act. And so a big word that goes along with the solar plexus is transformation. And when you practice discipline, the heat, the fire, the tapas. So, no, I don't want to necessarily, I love yoga. I know I love what I feel like after I'm done, but I don't always want to practice a power class or a really strong practice or even a yin practice. Like, I just don't even want to get on my mat because I might have other things going on. I've had a busy day. I'd like to just veg out on the couch. But yet I have this desire to want to develop my yoga practice, and I want to nail that handstand, or I want to be able to reach that space in meditation where I get completely centered within myself. What am I willing to do to get there? And that takes discipline. It takes, getting on your mat every day, once a day, practice and all is coming, or, whatever that goal is for you, in order for you to start taking steps, to start kindling that fire in order to create a burning fuel for you to move up the chakra system and move through your life in a transformative way. Becoming more enlightened along the way. And yes, it is not always pleasant, but this is why we need fire to get us moving and moving forward. The solar plexus can also sometimes be called the inner executive. It's the one that it's actually more of a middleman. So you think of an executive and it sounds like a really important job, and it is, but at the same time it's still a middleman. That the solar plexus is kind of the doer, the action, the decider. Okay, sacral, we've set up the foundation. This, I trust. I'm willing to feel and want to manifest some things. I have some desire, but now is the executive going to be doing the things that it needs to do in order to make that happen. And the solar plexus also has to do with individuation, so your individuality. Now, as we move up the chakras, you'll notice the fourth one up is going to be the heart, which is where we start really leaping into more of the universal aspects, the collective aspects, connecting with other people. But the solar plexus, we really need to be focusing still within ourselves, because we're responsible for our choices and our actions. And that's still, and we're still responsible for deciding who we are, who we want to be, how am I going to get there, what is my ego, what is my identity place in this life. And so the first three chakras being the root, which is setting up our foundation and really solidifying our grounds, moving up to the sacral, where it's really delving within, looking at our emotions, our desires, and then which is all very individual, and then honoring that but not necessarily getting stuck in them and willing to move forward, and that's the solar plexus. So it's still pretty individual, and then we kind of leap into more collective energy relationships with others through the heart, throat, communication, third eye, and then the crown. The development of the solar plexus happens between the ages of 18 months and 4 years. And this is really the development of personal will, personal power, and our realization of separateness, so our individualization. So think of a child who's around 2 or 3 years old and think about how self-willed they are. And, you can tell them to tie their shoe, or, to go put their shoes on, or to put the toys away, you're giving them a directive, but if they don't want to do it, they're going to fight for that, and they're going to really test the limits and test the boundaries. So if you are a parent or an aunt, or if, you're just around children, you work with children, this is a part where we don't want to stifle that independence by saying, you're going to do what I say, I'm the power, I'm the authority, you don't get to decide, you don't know anything, because what that's giving that message to that child is, they don't have any power, that there isn't any fire, that they're not responsible for their choices and their actions, that some other entity outside of themselves is. Now, the kids still need to listen to rules. We can't just let them do whatever they want, but we talk about choices and consequences with them, give them several choices, allow them to decide, and then follow up with consistent consequences following that. Now that sounds really great, and I know it's not as easy as that, and it's much more detailed than that, but just for sake of time, that's really, can maybe recognize for those of you who are around kids between the ages of 18 months to 4 years, that's really where they are testing the limits. And we foster that, we encourage that, we can appreciate that too, because we know that that's just a developmental stage for them. At the same time, we work on guiding that and helping them learn responsible choices and so on. You can think back of when you were that age and how perhaps the development of your solar plexus was fostered or not fostered, and start working some of that out on your journey as well. Speaking of shame as the demon of this chakra, really shame is, it undermines the self, it's undermining to self-esteem, our personal power, it stifles our willingness to be spontaneous, to really be joyful in our life, because we fall to be victims of the shame. And so it really collapses the third chakra, and it turns that radiating energy that could be so powerful into against itself. So we now are burning ourselves up inside instead of burning that energy outward and acting on some really probably great manifestations or desires. Defining power. So I said earlier, burning our way into power, and that sounds really aggressive, and it's really more empowering than it is aggressive, because, and I'm going to read something to you. It is an excerpt out of a book that I have, and it says, power is something that lifts us out of our struggles and turns it into transformation. Out of our past and into the future, one that inspires, strengthens, and empowers without diminishing others. So basically, we come out of that victim place. We have challenges in our lives, whether that be training for a marathon or getting through that Warrior 3, getting through, that really physical, I'm coming from more of a physical activity aspect, but also things like losses in your life, struggles that are happening, financial issues, all of these things that might be happening in your life. How do you come through those struggles? How do you act accordingly? So something comes up in your life, maybe a negative or a challenging experience, how are you going to face that? And that that ability to make a choice of choosing how I'm going to face my challenges, and am I going to burn through them and get through this and act accordingly and come out stronger in the end and feel empowered in myself and also empowering others, or am I going to beat myself up, beat everyone down around me, feel very disenjoyed, and just fall to pieces because of the challenges that we face. So how do you face challenge in your life is a really good question, and something to start kind of assessing that for you. Let's see. This is also an excerpt from the book that I read often about the chakras, and it says, as we exercise choice, we initiate will, which develops individuality, discovers strengths and weaknesses, and begins to build the power that steers our lives. We leave the realm of safety and security and move forward into the unknown. As we meet challenge, it strengthens us by forcing us to grow. So I just really love that paragraph, that little explanation, because it's really talking about the transformative power of the Manipura chakra. And you know, power is like a muscle. It will not increase by doing nothing. So how are you seeking almost challenge in your life? You know, willingness to really look at those tough things, that discipline that you struggle with. You know, I have. Sorry, my dogs are barking. Dolce, come here. Dolce, come here. Dolce, come here. Sorry about that. Lots of people out today because it's so nice out. So, I don't remember what I was saying. So we'll just move on. So, where the root chakra and the sacral chakra are more dense, the fire chakra, the solar plexus, is where our chakras start to become more light. They become lighter. And because the first two chakras are pretty dense, and they need to be in order to stabilize and root us, and in order to keep us more centered inward, and then we start to burn some of that up as we move away. So you can even think of a fire, like a fire pit, and you have your logs and your bricks, and then you have the gas around it, or you pour the gas onto it, and then you light the flame, and that's the fire, and then you start to burn that, and then even further, you know, you have the smoke and so on, and the heat that's created by it. And so that is kind of how we can conceptualize one chakra building off of the other. So yes, seeking challenge, inviting it into your life. Friction causes spark, spark causes fire, fire causes movement in your life, and being willing to work through fear and hesitation and shame within yourself to move past those things and know that you are an amazing being and you can do so much more than your mind will allow you to believe, and having the discipline and tapas. I can't stress that enough. This is what I was going to say earlier. So I'm kind of a kappa person when it comes to physical activity. It's probably why, and food, diet, that's probably why I use those as examples a lot. I really want to eat healthy, and I really want to be active. I feel so much better when I do. But I have to work really hard at not coming home and laying on the couch and turning on the TV and just almost falling asleep, because I like to do that. That's kind of my way to escape. I feel nurtured by that, but I certainly don't have good consequences by that, not long term anyways. And I feel so much more vibrant and energetic and happy and joyful and grateful in my life when I'm moving and taking care of my body. And so I have to really watch my choices that I'm making, and then being willing to accept the consequences really non-judgmentally, not shaming myself if I make a bad choice, but just understanding that I need to work a little bit harder. I need to create a little bit more discipline in my life. in order to make that happen for me, because I deserve it and you do too. So what is something that you've been lacking in discipline on and not really kindling the fire within and lighting the flame within yourself that maybe you can start to kindle this week? And you know, if it's, I wanted to run 3 miles a day, maybe you start by just taking a mile walk. So just start to kindle that fire, and it will grow, and you will create a discipline in your life that at some point doesn't feel like discipline anymore. I guess that's basically all I have for the solar plexus. Come into our classes this week. I will be teaching tomorrow, which is Tuesday. It's a Vinyasa Flow at 5:30, and then a basic class at 6:45. We'll be focusing on the solar plexus. They will be wonderful classes. You will not regret. Continue to work on this energy, experience this energetic journey. It is really quite amazing. For the people who've been consistently coming to classes in the last couple of weeks, have really started to see some healing in their bodies and in their selves and in their lives from it. So I really encourage you, it's not too late to start. And what a bandwagon to get on in regards to starting with the solar plexus if you haven't started the chakras yet. We are Evolve Yoga and Wellness, and check us out on evolvesioux.city.com, or check us out on Facebook, Evolve Yoga and Wellness out of Sioux City, or Twitter, Evolve108. Or 108, and I hope to see you, and please join us the rest of the week. We would love to see you, and hope that you can create maybe a little bit more fire in your yoga practice this week and in your life, taking it from the mat into your life, off of the mat, and with many blessings. Namaste.